What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bronx Pinstripe Show. Yankees take a 3-1 lead. Dramatic win again. Both these games, man. I feel like this is back to the old classic: take years off your life every single night in the postseason. Especially because tonight you knew the bullpen was going to be short. I mean, Weavers ended up warming up in the ninth inning, which makes you question, well, was he available from the start? Who the hell knows? But the thought going in was, they're going to be down at least Weaver, so everyone is bumped up. Obviously, Ferguson's off the roster now. Hamilton's off the roster now because Freudian slip. Because Ferguson. Because of the injury. So you got Leiter there, who none of us wanted to see come, and he's there for 2 innings. So it's just like it's the Yankees bullpen. B, C, and D guys trying to scratch and claw and hang on to a lead. Oof, what's
crazy in that the guys in the booth were talking about this a little bit, but for the record, I thought it before I heard it. Is that Mark Leiter Jr. at least is something different to the eyes from these guys, you know,
like a mix-up, like a mix-up.
Yeah, like they haven't seen him yet. You know, it seems like everybody in the bullpen on both sides are just they got nothing that people don't know about anymore. Like
sure, we talked about that when you rely so heavily on your bullpen in a 7-game series. These guys are getting 3, 4, 5 at bats in a short week off the same pitcher. You never get that in the regular season.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. They're saying the audio is crackly again on YouTube. Sorry, guys. There's something going on with YouTube and our connection. Go watch the stream on Facebook or Twitter or somewhere. We have it streaming. We'll replace the video, but I don't know why it's doing that. But yeah, the fact that he came in and that first at bat to Noel was like
off Leiter in the 7th, right?
The fact that that was the 8th inning. The TBS cameras, I mean, made it look like it was a home run for sure. And then you see it again and it's off the end of the bat. But goddamn, was that thing gone? In my head, that thing was gone. I'm like, I can't believe that just happened again. And right before it, I had sent you a text saying, here comes a 3-run home run from Mark Leiter, because that's what he does. He gives up the home run ball. At any moment, there's a home run ball around the corner. So,
well, no. Instead, arguably, they blew the game in a more embarrassing fashion, which was bobbling a cue ball off the bat and then trying to shovel pass it to Rizzo went through his legs. Like that was just a complete ineptitude breakdown.
That play, yeah, because you look back at it too, and it wasn't even that bad.
You had time.
I thought the ball. Oh, I don't know about that. I thought the ball was hit harder than it was, but it just wasn't. He just didn't feel the clean.
No, it was kind of a cue shot, which going to be some weird spin on it. But when Leiter goes over on the line to field that ball, like he actually had time to just pick the ball up and tag the runner.
No, I don't think he did. He was his momentum was off the path. I don't think he was able to tag him at all.
The runner wasn't even past him yet.
No, I know, but he was moving. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't think he had the opportunity to do that. He threw the ball perfectly to Rizzo. I don't know what you want.
Well, Rizzo, if you saw, he put his glove. He thought he was.
Yeah, he was like
up.
This. He flipped his glove, but the ball was like middle in his gut. So I don't know. You know, if Rizzo has not looked good at first base, like period. He just hasn't. He's looked slow. He just hasn't looked great at first base. I don't know what's going on with him. A hockey goalie over there smothers that ball and catches it. And then at the end of the game, can we going backwards
sure.
again with this? That ground ball that was hit to Birdie at second base after they pull Glaber. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This is not happening right now.
Luckily, they had the runner still by like 3 full steps. But yeah, before the camera panned over and you saw how far the runner was, I was like, oh God, this is how it's going to go down.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, man. But overall, Clay Holmes, again, just gave up the game. Just put them right back into it.
It's the exact, what you're seeing.
He's not executing his pitches.
No, Clay Holmes is not executing his pitches. And all Tommy Kahnle is doing is executing changeups. What is it, like 40 in a row that he's thrown? Like not a single fastball that he's mixed in. But when it's the exact thing you said a couple minutes ago, these bullpen arms are facing the same hitters every single night. Eventually, the advantage goes back to the hitter. Class A, again, Yankees got to Class A. Like, this doesn't happen. Stanton, like, we kind of buried the lead. What was the lead of the game? The 3-run home run off of what's his face, who had been Cade, who had been unhittable.
Yeah, it's and that was the last one. That was the last one that they needed to actually get to.
Cade Smith.
They finally
I couldn't
did.
think of his last name, even though it's literally the most vanilla last name of all time.
It's Cade Smith, but not. It's Cade Smith. I'm just telling people that where we're going. So the fact that they were able to do that time again and put runners on, and Volpe with a huge hit to get on, and then the stolen base by Volpe too. Like, I'm really happy that I don't know if he had the green light or if he was given the sign to go, but he had that bag stolen by half a body length.
That's a play.
It was a tremendous effort by him, for real.
I would guess that's a call. I mean, I don't know. Volpe might have the green light in some situations, but even so, the bench might just say you're definitely going here, because you always steal in that situation to stay out of the double play if Wells makes an out, which Wells did end up making it out. But you want to steal so you don't now get in a situation where it's first and third, 1 out, and a double play gets them out of the inning. So it was absolutely the right call to go and steal that base.
And they did it early in the count too, which is perfect. Like, you go, you take the bag, and they did, and then they're able to get the runners.
Verdugo had the cue. Then after that was Verdugo cue shot with the shortstop again. Rocchio.
That's baseball, Susan. You get a ground ball, we get a ground ball. You get a cue shot, we get a cue shot, and it ends up in a run. So it was like all's fair in baseball right there. So they were able to get it back, but it was a messy game on both sides. But yeah, like, at the end of the day, man, like, I don't give a shit how those runs come across. Just get those runs across, and I don't care how many Tommy Kahnle changeups have to be thrown to close out that game. But frankly, I wanted to see Tommy Kahnle in the 8th inning. If you're looking at that tight game, like, go Kahnle.
So here's the weird thing about this, right? Like, so Weaver's warming up in the 9th inning. So obviously, you're not going to warm him up if there's no chance of him coming in the game. So he's available. So then he was only available if the tying run was on. So, like, what situation was Weaver available exactly? Like, I just didn't understand that.
Who else was available out of the pen at that moment?
Stroman and Meza.
So
that was it. That's the end of the bullpen.
And Meza got up twice.
Yep.
So you're looking
Meza was warming up early in the game when Hill came in.
I don't know why Weaver's up at that point. Are you bringing it if one run scores? Are you bringing him in?
The tying run's already on base.
Yeah.
Like,
if you're gonna do that, and he's gonna be available to warm up and come into the game possibly,
then pitch Kahnle in the 8th. Then pitch Kahnle in the 8th.
I know they wanted to avoid using him.
Yes, I know they wanted to avoid it too, but like, he's either available or not available. This is game 4 of the ALCS, right? Like,
yeah, but here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to break this rationale down a little bit more, because I was thinking about it, and I'm flipping on my thoughts a little bit right now. If you have Stroman, which it doesn't seem like Stroman was even a consideration.
He's extra innings. If extra innings come around, he's in.
Yeah, and then Meza, who was brought in a 1-run game yesterday.
Everybody else's arm falls off, then Meza comes in.
You would think. So then you're looking at, okay, you got Kahnle up. You either stay with Kahnle, because if you're pulling him, he's getting hit, or he can't find the plate. Those are
he kind of had that. He kind of couldn't find the plate because the first batter of the 9th inning struck out, but that's a pitch borderline at best.
So you're looking at you're trying to save Weaver, which I agree with. They needed to save Weaver. He should never have thrown in that 6-2 game in the first place. Probably would be a different story at this point, but you're trying to save him. At that point, you have to have someone up just in case. You have to have someone up, and You did try to save him, but he's still the best option out there at this point. So you get him ready, and
Well,
that's not to say that he was available to come and do a full inning, because that was not the game plan.
He's getting one out if one more batter got on.
I think that was it. I think he's more of like the emergency.
But here's where that backfires. What if Canely gave up a 2-run double there at the end, right? Then it's like, well, you were waiting for one more batter, but the tying runs were on base, so you waited too long, right? So it's like, I feel like once you make that decision, we're warming up Weaver, that means he was available for the game. I know you were trying to avoid it, but like you didn't avoid it.
I know, but I have no problem with him doing it at that point. I did before I started started talking about it, and I don't at this point.
Yeah, and
there were no real options at that point. Yeah.
No, they literally emptied the bullpen, and they got 2 innings, 2 high leverage innings out of Mark Leiter Jr.
That's crazy.
This is a guy who 24 hours ago was not on their roster.
Yeah. All right. So let's start first of all, if we're going backwards.
Hold on. Before we do, quickly, we're brought to you tonight by the best way to get postseason tickets, Game Time. No matter what kind of tickets you're looking for, Game Time is what you should use to buy your tickets. I love using the Game Time app for many reasons. My personal favorite features are the flash deals, because you can see what sections the best deals are in, all-in pricing, so you select this, you're not hit with surprise fees at checkout, and then those seat views from inside the stadium, real pictures from people who have sat in those seats. The app is streamlined, is easy to use. It's just a couple taps and your purchase is done. The app allows for easy sharing of tickets with other people if you're going to the game with friends and family. Game Time also has great tickets for concerts, comedy shows, theater, and much more. Maybe you want to get a ticket for Game 5 of the ALCS, and hey, there's always the World Series coming up too if the Yankees can close this out. Game Time guarantee means you're always going to get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less money, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use our code BRONX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code BRONX, spelled BRONX, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. What were you saying?
So last night when we were talking about this game, we both agreed that you got to come out
Swanging.
off the bat and go after Williams. You need to attack him early to allow Heel to potentially settle into a game if possible. And they did that immediately. You get
Soto, boom, bang.
You get Soto, but even before that, Torres again. Glaber starts off the game again.
Is this
getting on base?
How many games has he let off in the postseason getting on base? I feel like it's every game except maybe one.
A lot, yeah. It seems like it's an everyday occurrence. This guy is on base to start the game, and then Soto, same thing, really. I mean, like, he's been unbelievable too. This time, he just takes matters in his own hands, hits the home run. They're up. They're up 2-0. Like, that's just huge right there, just to start the game. It's massive.
Literally exactly what we said needed to happen last night.
And then Wells finally, second inning, comes back. So that's 2 innings in a row. They get runs off of Williams. He hits the home run, and they're waiting for Heel. And Heel could have. You go back to the first inning, Heel could have absolutely. That could have been a 3-run inning.
Could have been worse. I mean, he comes out first inning, walks the first batter after he spotted a 2-run lead, and you're like, oh God, here we go. Dude hasn't pitched in a month.
And his command was not there.
He couldn't control his fastball.
Well, and as soon as you can ID that he can't control the fastball, this is exactly what Cleveland was going to do. They were going to have the bat on their shoulders, and they were going to wait, and they were going to work the count, and they were going to make him throw strikes. And if he couldn't throw strikes, they were going to take the walks. And that's the first round through. That's exactly what they did. He definitely settled back in that first inning.
The fourth inning was like his best inning.
He looked great in the fourth inning. Yeah. And that was what I was trying to articulate yesterday. I don't think I did it very well, but when he, even if he's off and it walks guys early in the game, it doesn't mean he can't come back and just light someone up for a couple frames.
Of course,
he's different. Good. Yeah, I know, but he's just different in that way. Usually you see a guy who can't find the zone early on and does that for extended innings, or does it like every other inning, like he ain't coming back. But Heel's got the ability to do that because his fastball is so good if he's early in the count. and he's able to throw those strikes. And I don't think he knows where the ball's going when he releases it from his hand.
It's a mystery. Some of those fastballs, you could tell he's just letting it fly.
And it was at the fourth inning when he gave up that bloop, and then he overthrew that next pitch where Rizzo and Wells had to come out and talk to him.
I don't know. I thought the fourth inning he
got him one.
Didn't he get him one?
Maybe that was the third inning. That was the third inning, I think. He had to. I thought it was just really good timing by the guys. They clearly saw it. I saw it when he threw the pitch. You could tell that he overthrew and was just pissed off about the bad bounce and the ball falling.
Real quick while I'm thinking about this, because you mentioned Rizzo. On that play where he was potentially going to be fielding a bunt when he's playing like 30 feet from the batter who's swinging away, dude. First of all, I guess kudos to you for having the balls to do that, but also like he's clearly not bunting, and just a regular ground ball is going to get past you at that point. So just back up. I know he backed up, I think, on the third pitch, but like, oh my God, was that?
Yeah, I don't think that they were convinced that he wasn't going to bunt on that second.
I mean, obviously that's why he stayed in there. But like, damn, you got to have some brass ones to stand there with a guy swinging away.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He, but obviously,
I mean, he can't field his position standing with back at the bag. So like, what's the difference?
There's like a little light toss with the under.
But like, even how many balls like has he? I mean, he made 2 errors last night, and then tonight, obviously, you can't necessarily get on him for that Jose Ramirez double, but he's playing on the line, no doubles defense, and the ball's kind of hit right to him, and he just kind of falls down, and it goes past him.
Yeah, I don't know. He looks a little off in the field for whatever.
Like a half step slow.
But he got another huge base hit. Huge base hit.
So I know you said before we recorded, like, just move him up to the 5 slot because Jazz was moved up there today. The only positive thing Jazz did today offensively was lay down a bunt, which it was.
It was a beautiful bunt.
That was a great bunt, but you're not exactly putting a cleanup hitter in there with the idea he's going to be bunting, sacrificing tonight. So they have not.
No, but in that situation, I'm glad he was up. I'm glad he was up and was able to advance the runners.
And the funny thing is, Rizzo, if he was up, would have also been bunting.
Probably because he can bunt.
But like, I'm just of the mindset at this point, like Stanton has just been so money, like, and he took Cade Smith out of the ballpark tonight, the most unhittable guy in that Cleveland bullpen, right-handed pitcher. Like, yeah. I know you want to break up the lefties. I know you don't want to do back-to-back righties in the balance, blah, blah, blah. But when Stanton has been this good, like this is a historic postseason we're witnessing from Stanton. Dude is hitting big home runs every single night.
Mm-hmm. He is. How many? And
he's up to 15. He's up to 15 career postseason home runs. But like, how many RBIs does he have this postseason? Like he's been unstoppable. Just put him clean up. Like, come on.
They obviously want to break it up and they want to continue to have.
I know,
they're going to do that. So it's just what they're going to do. And I don't think it's that big of, especially with Rizzo. Rizzo's hitting 455 in this series.
But it's all
in the postseason.
It's all singles. I mean, but like, here's the thing though. Because
he's hitting the ball hard though. He's hitting the ball hard. Like that base hit at the end there was
everything is. I mean, this is a bullpen series. Like the Guardians are a bullpen team, so you're going to get one time through the order with a starter, and then it's the bullpen the rest of the night. So you're basically just making it so they can't go to a lefty to get out Jazz, Rizzo, and Wells, right? Like that's the reason you're putting Stanton fifth. But everything's a 3-batter minimum anyway, so no matter what, a lefty's going to come in and face 2 of those guys. I just think the when you're weighing the positives and negatives of this, like I think the benefits are going to outweigh the negatives of getting Stanton behind Judge, because also you saw a situation late in the game where they walked Judge because Jazz is coming up next. Maybe they don't do that if Stanton's up next.
Yeah, it's possible. They scored 8 runs tonight, so off of a good pitching team. How many strikeouts do you think they had today?
The Yankees?
How many times did the Yankees strike out? Yeah,
6.
Oh no, 14.
Felt like
that's 6. Crazy. It's crazy that they struck out 14 times and scored 8 runs because The other piece of this is they were 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position. So
Yeah.
they had runners in scoring position and they took advantage of it. This was a night that they did that. A lot of base hits. And Volpe another 2 hits. He's hitting 320 in the playoffs, 845 OPS. He's been extremely good. And then, Soto has obviously been great. Chisholm, nothing, 3 strikeouts. But I don't know. The offense felt like they weren't struggling badly against this team today.
It was a much better offensive night. I mean, they had also. I mean, I know they went through a bit of a stretch in the middle of that game where they did nothing, but they were putting pressure on the Guardians most innings, and they got to Cade Smith, they got to Emmanuel Clase again. They didn't get to Gaddis tonight, but they were putting pressure on the Guardians, big guys. Like I mean, it's a 3-1 series at this point. Like you say, well, obviously the Yankees should win this series. Now you're up 3-1, but if you're the Guardians, you're like, well, our whole game plan was we're bullpenning our way through this. That's really damn hard to do.
That's really hard to do. I was surprised. I was surprised when they changed when they pulled Williams in the third.
It's just
2 and a third.
I know, but that's what they do, and I get it. Like when you have the talent they have in the bullpen, like it
1,
makes
2,
sense.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7 relievers.
It makes sense in a vacuum, but practically, it's not sustainable in a 7-game series.
No, and it's not. It's hard. It's hardly sustainable in one game when you're trying to get 7 guys in there to do their job effectively. Because if you're trying to do that, a couple of them are going to.
One guy has a bad night, and your plan goes out the window.
Especially when all of these guys have seen this lineup now multiple times. So there's nothing to hide. There's nothing new here. They've been squared up. And anytime you have a relief pitcher, half the reason the relief pitchers have such great numbers is because they're specialists. During the regular season, they're able to come in, they do their job in the one inning that they have. They probably only see an opponent a couple times.
Exactly. And then there's not
time
facing,
in between.
And then if you've even faced that team before, it was 6 weeks ago, and you might not have even seen that relief pitcher in that game.
Right, and most likely you're facing possibly a different part of the lineup. It's not like you're facing the whole lineup.
It's a completely different thing. It's. I mean,
that's what relief pitching makes it. It's so difficult in the postseason, and it makes it so much more important to have actual good starting pitching. But it seems like that's non-existent in the playoffs today.
The ironic thing is the Yankees starting rotation is like the most traditional who's left in the playoffs. And even that we're seeing like no one's going deep. They're lucky to get into the 5th inning with their starters. I mean, the Dodgers went on a great pitching run this postseason, but I feel like every game the Dodgers play, they either win 9-0 or they're giving up 10 runs. It's just flip-flopping back and forth with them. And it's like the Yankees also had to go to multiple relievers pretty much every game, but certainly back-to-back games. And they basically just out-hit. They hit the Cleveland bullpen more than the Cleveland bullpen hit their bullpen. That's what it came down to. It's not like the Yankees bullpen was great. They just got enough outs.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Who was good out there? Tim Hill was good out there.
Tim Hill was good.
Good again.
Cousins looked good in his first inning of work. They tried to stretch him, which is also more evidence that they were trying to avoid Weaver. Because as soon as I saw them bring Cousins back out, I'm like, oh, they're not going to Weaver tonight. They're lining this up so Weaver doesn't have to pitch. And then so Cousins comes back out. He struggles in his second inning of work. Holmes comes in. He stinks. He can't find the plate. And then Leiter comes in, and he was. I feel like
I think he was trying
Leiter
to get 2 innings from Cousins and try
definitely.
to avoid Holmes and Weaver if possible.
Well,
I think that's what he was trying to
How
do.
are you going to do that?
I think that he was trying because I think Leiter was going to pitch.
So Leiter was going to pitch 2 innings, and Cousins was going to pitch 2 innings.
And Canely was going to obviously throw as well.
Yes, I know, but if you were trying to avoid Holmes altogether, you could
have split an inning with Canely.
Yeah,
Canely
so
could have come in.
Guys could have gotten in. Yeah,
because I didn't want to see Clay Holmes in this game at all. But he almost had to bring at least one of those 2 guys in at that point when Cousins couldn't do anything in that second
so
inning.
hopefully the B whips aren't going to be too much for Weaver to overcome because he's 2 innings tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And technically, Boone did say there's a chance they would go 3 days in a row with some pitchers. Could be more of a gamesmanship thing, So nobody would be unavailable.
Who would be?
What does gamesmanship do with any? What does that do at this point?
Boone's a big believer of I'm not going to tell you who is going to be available and who's not going to be available.
I know.
So
but
if
it's such a ridiculous thing at this point in the series.
Is Clark Schmidt potentially available tomorrow night out of the bullpen?
Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
It's not that crazy
for an inning. It's his throw day anyway.
Yeah. Yes, he should be.
I think so. I mean,
because
probably not
if you're thinking, okay, so Rodon's starting, he's been their best. He was their best starter in this series so far. But you're looking for 5 innings out of him. You got to get 4 innings. Maybe Weaver's 2, but that also might be asking a lot. So how are you going to fill the other 6 or 7 outs?
I think Hill is probably available. He only pitched 1 batter yesterday.
And he
had a pretty quick inning today.
He pitched 1 inning today. Yeah, maybe.
I
was also questioning why they didn't bring him back out instead of Cousins. If you're going to be stretching, but regardless, I feel like we might see Clark out of the bullpen tomorrow night because obviously Leiter's not going to be available. I don't think Holmes is going to be available. Canley's not going to be available.
Yeah.
You don't think Leiter's going to be available?
Pitches.
He shouldn't be available if they have a close game. I guess if you're losing by 5 runs, you can bring him in. But dude just wasn't on the roster, pitches 2 innings tonight, coughs up the game. No, I don't think he's available in a leverage situation.
Well, I think I don't know. He might be.
I think so too.
I think they're running out of arms at that point.
They are running. You're right.
Out of Weaver can go
2.
You have to throw him. Maybe not a full. He won't go a full
1.2.
1.2. But he might get 5 outs.
Yeah.
4 or 5 outs. That's why I say you might get 3 outs out of Clark tomorrow.
Yeah, it's possible.
I mean, who's a better?
Is that everybody in the bullpen?
Stroman.
And then Stroman didn't.
I think Stroman's only pitching if Rodon gets knocked out early or if they go to extras.
Yeah, I thought for sure today was going to be Stroman after Heel, but Heel ended up going.
The problem with Stroman
further.
is Stroman can't miss bats. And so if you're in a close game, I don't know how you bring him in.
I agree with the Clark Schmidt being available because even if they needed him in a potential Game 7, you're talking about Tuesday.
Yeah, he's also
going to have a short leash.
He's going one time through that order at that point anyway.
They could theoretically let him throw 30 pitches tomorrow.
Because he's got to have a throw day. I guess technically Sunday would be his throw day,
which is perfect because it's a day later. So. If it doesn't happen, then
so I definitely think because you're right, Logan. If he's the starter for Game 7, we all know what that means.
If they got it, yeah. And even Heel would be available coming off of Friday to Tuesday,
and Rodon would be available in Game 7 too.
So
and Cole would be available, but probably only for a late inning need and out type.
Cole would be available after pitching the day before. You think they would make him available?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think at the end of the game, if
Game
you need
7.
something,
Your season doesn't exist if you don't win Game 7.
If it's between Mark Leiter Jr., Tim Meza, and
I mean, unless
Cole.
he pitches 130 pitches the night before, but then it's they should.
If he did that, they're probably not going
to win that game, right?
Yeah,
right.
Baumgartner maybe did that. I don't know. Maybe somebody.
I mean, most famously, this happened. Randy Johnson did this.
Oh yeah,
against
came
the
out
Yankees
of the bullpen the next day.
Yeah. Randy Johnson fucked the Yankees twice.
Three
times. He fucked the Yankees when he was a Mariner, fucked the Yankees when he was a Diamondback, and fucked the Yankees when he was a Yankee. Motherfucker.
The massive balls on Giancarlo Stanton for coming in and just hitting that. Hitting that.
That is a man right there.
Just an unbelievable home run, and that just deflating too. And I know that they came back and ended up tying the game, and the Yankees had to do it again, but. Damn, did he make it more difficult for them?
This is a historic
postseason
he's having.
It was so needed because the bullpen was just coughing up runs left and right. The bullpen was just melting in front of our faces. No lead was safe at that point. So the fact that he was able to come in there and just hit the shit out of the ball. I didn't think it was gone off the bat. I
No,
thought,
and if you saw Judge didn't think it was gone. Judge was on second base. He went back to tag up. He just hit the ball so damn high. I feel like the ball was carrying a little bit tonight. Because
it had to have.
Soto's and Wells also carried out to center field. Ironically, no L's down the left field line. Obviously, didn't carry, but yeah. Like these are big home runs too. These are not just
They're
like
huge home runs.
These are not just like, oh, he's padding his stats. Like these are some big time clutch home runs.
Yeah, and that's coming at a point now. I mean, and you got to give a lot of credit to the Guardians for fighting back. I mean, the Yankees put up a 3 spot in the 6th inning with that home run, and then they come right back and put the 3 spot up in the 7th inning
because they were facing Jake Cousins.
Yeah,
for a second inning of work.
But they did it.
They did it. I know.
They did it.
What was wrong with Naylor in his last at bat? He was like wheezing.
I don't know. Yeah, I think he swallowed a chicken bone.
Tired from being too fat.
It's like he was eating wings in between and coughed one up.
Yeah, man. The Stanton thing, like obviously
he looks like he ate his brother.
Stanton. The unfortunate thing is if the Yankees don't win a World Series, like some of Stanton's heroics get lost in time because you don't remember the postseasons that you don't win.
I don't know. Stanton's put enough down on paper now where he's going to be known for the postseason. It's a lot down on
paper, and it's every postseason he's played with the Yankees. Now, unfortunately, he's also missed some postseasons due to injuries. But when he's on the field, he's putting up numbers in the postseason. Like this is a legit thing. Dude shows up in October.
Yeah, hell yeah. He even said on the they asked him why the postseason? Why do you show up? He's like, I want a ring. I want a ring. Yeah, like, good.
I know we've crapped on Stanton, but like I feel like we've always been consistent on the fact that like Stanton has always said and done the right things as far as like with the media and everything. Like the injuries are obviously frustrating. Him barely going above a light jog is frustrating and ridiculous. Then obviously the contract is ridiculous. Like last year, he was a complete lost player, but we were like, well, he's standing up and he's
always been accountable.
He's always been accountable. So it's easy to then on the flip side when he is performing like this to just like relish in it because it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, and for him coming back from what the performance that he had in 2023 to, when he was healthy in 24, play the way he did because he was playing
his regular season.
Very good.
What'd we give him for a grade? We give him like a B. Did we give him like a B?
Yeah, but the first half of the year he was very good.
Yeah, no, I know. No,
and
of
then
course
he goes down and comes back and isn't as much. And then he comes back and is this guy in the playoffs for the team? Like it's crazy.
It's like we say he can go out and run the 100-meter dash, not literally, but like metaphorically, he can run the 100-meter dash. That marathon is going to be too long.
Yeah, and that's why he had to take a beat in the middle of there.
Yeah,
make sure everything's good for the playoffs.
One win away. Rodon tomorrow night. Has Cleveland announced a starter?
Yeah, Tanner Bibby's going again.
So but he was their game 2 starter, so he's coming back on short rest.
39 pitches or 29.
Bibby.
They got a Bieber and a Bibby. I know Bieber's hurt, but they got some Bs. Yeah.
Well,
they're gonna have to stay longer with him.
Yeah, because if you're Cleveland, it's not even like you can say, okay, just get it to Cade Smith and get it to Emmanuel Clase. Like the Yankees have got to these guys.
Yeah,
they've gotten to who's the 4th horseman? Because it's Clase got to him. It's Cade Smith got to him. It's Gaddis got to him.
Did they get to Herron?
So they haven't got to the lefty yet.
Tough. They can't do lefties.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
3
out of 4. 3 out of 4
horsemen.
I don't care. You don't have plural horsemen when you have 3 of them that are down. That's
Andrew, you cracked me up when after Stanton hit that home run. That was the message. 4 horsemen.
Yeah, they're literally just Stanton alone is just picking them off one by one.
Judge
got Class A. Yeah, so
and he got Gaddis.
I hope they've got a little tally going in the clubhouse, like who's gotten the most horsemen. And right now it's 2-2, Judge and Stanton.
Oh man! So this is the closest they've been to the World Series since 2017.
So yeah, 1 win away since 2017.
This is as far as they've ever gotten. Anything else now?
What do we do now?
This is gravy.
Yeah, but that 2017, they were never ahead in that series, and they've got a 3-1 series
they were.
lead now.
They were 3-2.
Oh, they were 3-2 in that series. That's right. They were going back 3-2. Yeah.
No,
I got to tell you, though,
corrected.
after Rodon gave us the last pitching performance, I feel a hell of a lot better with him having the ball tomorrow night. Because if he hadn't come out and pitched the way he did in the last outing, you're looking at this and you don't have a ton of confidence. But I have a hell of a lot more confidence now, understanding that he was able to kind of flip that switch and make that adjustment, compose himself, and come out and throw the way he should be throwing. So we'll see.
And you kind of probably have to extend him a little bit too, even if otherwise you might be like, maybe you spot to get him out here just because the bullpen is so fried and you have a 3-1 lead, you might need to extend him an inning.
That's the thing. Like, you're looking at him, if you go back to his last start even, and think about what he was like at the end of the start, you would probably take that over anybody in the bullpen right now.
Sure.
You know, like you would, because there's nobody in there. Maybe Tim Hill is the guy, which is a crazy thing to say right now. Crazy thing to say, but he is.
I know. Got
to give him a lot of credit. But yeah, I think you're right. I think if he's going well, then you definitely do not have as quick of a hook, because he's probably the better option at that point, or he very well could be the better option at that point.
We'll be getting the Guardians' better lineup, at least. Well, factually, numbers-wise, it's their better lineup. You get Fry in there. The guy who hit the home run last night, Noel, he'll be in there. So you see these better hitters because it's the lefty. They hit lefties better. I know Rodon shut them down.
Sure.
But it's noteworthy.
All right. Well,
here we go.
Gonna be another late night tomorrow. You think they can play in under a 4-hour game in Game 5?
Oh no.
Not with these two bullpens. It's 4.5 tomorrow night. Run it back.
It's gonna be a lot of runs scored.
Thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you again after Game 5.